Once you have designed your survey, you need to capture data for it. There are three ways you can capture data for your survey. The first is to deploy the survey on paper and then have your enumerators capture data on paper and then transcribe the information into the system. The second is to deploy your survey via email and send your questionnaires via email for users to fill out. And the third is to deploy your survey on tablet, computers, or cell phones. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy your survey by transcribing surveys that were captured in paper. The first thing that we need to do to capture data is to start the survey. While the survey is disabled, we cannot capture any data. So I'm going to go to the Start Survey link and I'm going to click it to enable data capturing. The system is going to show me new options in the menu, and those options allow me to capture questionnaires, to email my survey to other users, or to analyze the data. Currently there's no data, so I'm going to capture my first questionnaire by going into the Capture Questionnaire link and clicking on it. And the system will respond, presenting to me a form that needs to be filled out. So this is one questionnaire for my survey, and all I need to do is fill it out. So I'm going to fill in some data, and I'm going to enter my name and my age, and I can continue by clicking on the Next Section button or clicking on the tab for the next section and entering the data for the next section. You will notice on the very bottom of the screen that you have 5 buttons, and these buttons can be used to perform operations on your questionnaire. The Next Section button will allow you to navigate to the next section of the questionnaire. The Clear Section button will clear the section and return it to its pristine state so you can re-enter the data on that section. The Verify Answers will perform the verification of all the constraints and will tell you whether the questionnaire is valid. And the Submit Questionnaire will allow you to submit the questionnaire for final processing. I'm going to save the questionnaire by clicking on the Save Questionnaire button. The system responds to me by giving me a pop-up menu that says that it has saved 15 elements. I can click on Accept and I can continue entering data. If I go back to my survey dashboard, you will notice that I have one survey that has been saved. You will also notice that on the bottom of the screen I have a chart that tells me how many questionnaires I've been capturing, and it's telling me how many I have created, saved, and quarantined. Now in this case I have one questionnaire that was created and one questionnaire that was saved. I can go back to this questionnaire and continue filling it out by clicking on the Questionnaires button and clicking on the Edit button next to the questionnaire. This will open the questionnaire with the filled out data, and it will allow me to continue entering the data for the survey. This way I can transcribe very lengthy questionnaires slowly. So I'm going to continue by answering the data in my questionnaire, and I'm going to state that I have some high school education. My salary was $400 and I work in Bolivia. I drive to the office, and I will enter some data for these fields. Once I have finished entering my data, I can submit the questionnaire by clicking on the Submit Questionnaire button. The system will save the questionnaire and will return me to the survey dashboard, where I can see that now I have one survey that has been finished. A survey that has been finished is a survey that has been submitted and is ready for data analysis. If I capture a second questionnaire by going into the Capture Questionnaire button, and I'm going to pause the recording until all the data is finished. And now that I have finished entering data, I will submit my questionnaire. And I can see that I have 2 questionnaires filled out from a particular survey. I can continue filling out questionnaires until I'm done transcribing, or I can assign these questionnaires so that other users can enter data into my survey. And I do this by selecting the Users to Survey option that is in the menu bar, and the system will present to me a control panel that I can use to assign roles and responsibilities to different users regarding my survey. This dashboard is currently showing me that there are no users assigned to my survey, which basically means that the only person that can enter data or analyze data is me. Using this dashboard, I can assign different users to different permissions according to their needs. I have the following functions that users can perform on my function. The first one is editor. An editor is a person that can edit the survey structure. So this is a collaborator that is authorized to add questions or remove questions or edit questions to my survey. An enumerator is a person that is going to enter data. He can only create new surveys and enter data into their surveys. Whether he's entering data by using the web interface, transcribing surveys, or whether he's capturing questionnaires using a tablet computer. A quarantine validator is a person whose role is specifically to verify questionnaires that are in quarantine. There's a separate video that explains quarantines for surveys and quarantine validators, so I'm not going to cover that in this particular video. A survey manager is a person that can do anything with a survey. Can start the survey, can disable the survey, can modify the survey, can capture questionnaires, can analyze data, and so on. And an analyzer, who is a person that is specifically authorized permissions to view surveys and analyze the data by using the Crystal Surveys analysis tools. So currently I have no users, and to add a user to one of these functions, the user must already have an account on Crystal Surveys. If he does have an account on Crystal Surveys, I can add him. I'm going to add a manager by clicking on the Add Manager link on this particular screen. And the system is going to ask me for the email address of the person that I'm going to give permissions to manage my survey. And once I have typed his email address, I can add him as a manager by clicking on the Add Manager button. The system will verify that the user has an account in the system, and the system will add the user as a manager. Now the dashboard is showing me that I have one user, who in this case is Vladimir, and he is a manager. You can see in the roles in the survey that he's a manager. If the user that needs to perform a function does not have an account on Crystal Surveys, I need to send them an invitation. I issue an invitation by clicking on the New Invitation link on this screen. The system will respond by asking the information about the user that I'm trying to add. I'm going to type the email address of the user that I'm trying to invite, and I'm going to enter the information for the full name and the company that this user works for. I can also select the language that I want the email invitation to appear on. I'm going to leave it in English, and I'm going to send him an invitation. The system responds by informing me that an invitation was sent to this user Alonso, and I can click on the Go to Invitation list to view a list of all the invitations that I have issued on the survey. And the system will show me a list of all the users that have been invited. Crystal Surveys has sent Alonso an email. I will switch to Gmail to read Alonso's email. And as you can see, he had an email from Crystal Surveys that reads invitation for Crystal Surveys system registration. If I open that email, it is instructing Alonso to create an account. Now, I'm going to go back to Crystal Surveys and I'm going to log out as Ivan, and I'm going to go to the email and I'm going to click on the invitation link for Alonso. The system will show me a screen where Alonso will have to enter all his pertinent data, and I'm going to enter the email and I'm going to select a username for Alonso and a password. The information about Alonso within the organization, and we'll enter the CAPTCHA, and I will accept the terms and conditions and I will register. And the system will respond by telling me that the account has been created successfully, and it's going to instruct me to check my email to confirm my account. So I will go back to the email for Alonso and I will check the inbox, and I can see that I have an email that is my confirmation of user account creation. So this is my account, this is my username, and I have to now activate the account by entering the verification code, and I will click on the verification link and I'm going to verify my account, and now the account was completely created within the system. So I can now log in to Crystal Surveys using Alonso's account. I will now switch to the main Crystal Surveys screen, and I'm going to log in as the Ivan, which is the original user that was creating the survey. And in my users in the survey screen, if I go to the invitation list, I can see that there are no pending invitations. That basically means that everybody that has been invited to create an account in Crystal Surveys for this survey has registered. If I look at the completed registrations screen by clicking on the radio button and searching, you will see that there's a line that states that Alonso Fictitious has created an account, and it's telling you the username of the user that invited this particular user. Since this user has already created his account, I should be able to go back to the survey dashboard, users and surveys, and add this particular user as an enumerator. So I'm going to add Alonso as an enumerator, and in the bottom of this pop-up I can see that there's three options. The first option is telling me that the enumerator can only fill out questionnaires that are directly assigned to them. So that would mean that I would have to create a questionnaire and assign that questionnaire to Alonso. In the second, I allow Alonso to capture new questionnaires that are not assigned by me. That basically means that Alonso can capture as many questionnaires as he needs. The third option that I have selected allows Alonso to fill up questionnaires that have been assigned to other users. We would do this if we know that Alonso can help other users complete existing surveys. So I'm going to use those three options, and I'm going to add Alonso as the enumerator for my survey. And now I have two users that are assigned to functions in my survey: Vladimir, who is a manager, and Alonso, who is an enumerator. And now I'm going to see what Alonso sees when he logs into this system by logging out entering Alonso's information. And this particular survey, he has only 3 options. He can capture questionnaires, he can view the questionnaire that he has captured, and he can send this questionnaire to email to other users. And this concludes the video that shows you how you manage a survey, how you start a survey, how you assign users to your survey, and how you capture data for that survey.